Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you be watching this transmission. 'Tis I, Mike Martins. Welcome to another Trends in the Housing Market. Successfully running for almost 3 years now. Trends in the Housing Market. What is happening? Broadcasting and discussing the housing market from Auckland, New Zealand, across the pond to Sydney, Australia, north to Melbourne, across to Perth, the northwest to London, the north to Ireland, west to Scotland, and across the pond again, back to Toronto, across to Vancouver, down to Seattle, down to California, and east to Texas, and down to Miami, Florida. Covering all English-speaking countries, it is I, Mike Martins, and welcome to Trends in the Housing Market, where the trends are so similar in every English-speaking country. The patterns are all the same. We've been seeing this for a good while now, and we're starting to see it really start breaking apart. There's only so many holes you could plug in a boat before you start, replugging other holes that were plugged, that were unplugged but were replugged. But yeah, anyways, okay, we got the comments rolling, we got Skype open, we got everything rolling here. Andre Diak says hi, how you doing? Kevin Thompson in the house. Peter Swag, hey Mike, how you doing, Petey? Good to see you. And Pashka, who sent $2 for coffee for Mike. Yes. Super chat. Okay. Andre says prices are getting higher every month in Arizona. Yes, Arizona is a migrant state. It's a migrant inter-migration. So it's a lot of Americans moving from California and Oregon state. Spencer Chapman. Good night. How are you? Dow Jones down 800. Yeah, I covered that today. Dow Jones is getting a good kick in the pants. And lots of hole plugging going on. Oh yeah, welcome to Trends in the Housing Market, where we make talking about housing cool, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Thompson saying prices going up in Toronto. We will be covering that shortly in a few minutes. So what is happening, guys? Don't forget to check out the channel. We got Mike in the Night switching to Glide. Mike in the Night's The Secret with guests. That's a good one. Boomers, Gen X's. Explore the channel, guys. Trends in the Housing Market. Last week we had Uneducated Economist on the show. And lots of trends in the housing market. Trends in the housing market goes back for years. And then Morning Coffee with Mike. Check it out, guys. Housing crisis. Housing industry heating up. And this is a really good story I put up today, guys. New Zealand to pay employees in cryptocurrency. So that's the real deal, guys. I looked into it. I even called someone in New Zealand. And they told me that that's something that they've been looking at for 2 years now. Short everything, another one. Short everything. Too big to fail banks. Explosion, rally in stocks. Oh, Chinese bank wars, guys. This is going to be a huge effect on the housing market because right now China is looking to weaponize their currency by devaluating their currency, and this could be could break. But China's trying to say, oh, we're not going to devalue our currency. The markets themselves will devalue it. So Peter's saying, how do you feel about altcoins? As long as it's got as long as see, New Zealand is going to use the whole cryptocurrency thing to pay their employees, but they're trying to regulate it with a currency or something fiat. I don't know. I believe that they're in their infancy stage. Right now, we are in the pioneer stage of pretty much everything that's going on. And what's scary is that we're still in the dark ages with medicine. We're not advancing. We're barely going anywhere. And then with space exploration, we can't even do low orbit. So, I kind of wish we kind of advanced in other things instead of going to war every 2 weeks. China's also reducing gold purchases. Yeah, they've been selling a lot of their American treasuries to buy gold. So was Germany. Not Germany. Sorry, not Germany. Russia. Gold is up. Robert Andres in the house. How you doing? Stan Ulch in the house. Yes. How much longer until prices drop outside the GTA? Well, what's fueling? I got an article. I think it's from Seattle or Oregon. I'm gonna look over it with you guys tonight. It discusses how what's fueling the housing prices there, and it might be the same in trajectory that you would see happening in Toronto. I think that's what's happening in Toronto. Owen in the house. Thank you, Owen, for being here. God bless you. All right, so that's the channel news. Oh, and the community, under community, guys, we have here. First thing under the community in the channel, we asked, which banking system will fall first? I'm betting on China. Okay, ICBC, International Bank of China, International Commerce Bank, International Chinese Bank International Chinese Bank of China or something. Okay, so this is the votes. We have 292 votes. Don't forget to go under the community page in the section here on my YouTube channel. You'll see Germany at 31% in first place, followed by Australia 28%. So Germany right now, of course, because the derivative markets I think is at $4 quadrillion or quadrillions of dollars or trillions of dollars in derivatives. Sorry. Trillions and trillions of dollars of IOUs and all this crap that's floating around and buying back their own debt. It's a stew of death. But what Germany's been doing is people have been asking for their physical gold. I know I bring this up all the time because it's happening, guys. Germany's asking, people are asking, going to Deutsche Bank and say, I need my gold, please. Can I have my gold? Here's my gold certificate I bought 12 years ago when gold was at 800 an ounce. Now I want my gold now. Oh, we mailed it to you. It got lost. That's your problem. Yeah, that's happening, guys. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. God bless you too, says Owen. Mike, I wanted your opinion on my comment from the video the other day. What prices will drop first? The luxury or under 500K? Luxury is going to go first. Luxury always goes first because affordability issues, right? Unless people win the lottery every week in your town, people won't be moving into anything luxury right now. Anything that's under 500K is always going to kind of stagnate because it's always the affordable level for most people. So when you have the affordable level, it's going to be always hard to find in that level anything decent. You got to really look. But luxury is crashing right now. No one could get into it right now. So the Canadian proper can't, unless Canada is really pushing to get more immigration, and that's the key right there. Okay, Germany, Deutsche Bank, United States of America. Right now, I'm thinking Bear Stearns and J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan short and silver with no, silver buybacks and all kinds of crap, naked buybacks and all kinds of what else is the United States doing? Oh, bail-ins, implosions. Well, not bail-ins. They're doing QE, quantitative easing. We haven't got the bail-ins yet. That will probably spark a civil war. No, United States right now, they're just QE full blast. Printing presses are on full blast, and it's a back and forth swindle. After the Glass-Steagall Act was taken out during the Clinton administration, the United States has basically renegotiated the rules. They went off the gold standard in 1972. They had to go off the gold standard because they needed to go to war. There's no way you could keep wars going for 30, 40 years with your currency backed by gold. There's no way. The country would go bankrupt. There's no way. Red Pill Millennial in the house. Owen, Mike, do you think non-clinical consumer goods in services sector will go up? No, we already talked about... I don't know if you looked at those tickers I sent you, but we already talked about this, and yeah, we'll talk about it later, but if you look at those tickers I sent you and look where they are today, it's only the beginning, my friend. It is beginning. Okay, Australia. Now, I put Australia in there because of the Royal Commission sniffing around bank accounts, and not bank accounts, sniffing around the banks and this pay-to-play crap they're doing. Lots of junk happening in Australia, especially with their very embarrassing to the banking industry what Australia has been doing. China, of course, oh God, negative rates, negative yields, negative this, negative that, propping the dollar, quantitative easing. China's already bailed out 4 or 5 banks already in the last 4 days. China's in a lot of trouble right now, so China is at 27%. And then in Bank of England, the reason why I put Bank of England there, because Bank of England right now, England's in a lot of trouble with the Brexit, and they're going to have to pay exit fees for Brexit. So it's going to cost them millions and millions and if not billions of pounds to get out of Brexit. Yes. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. Every bank has their own issues, guys. So every country has their own issues. So implosions and negative bonds and all this crap they're doing. Guys, don't forget to support me on Patreon. $1 a month. I got 12 Patreon supporters. Yay! Hopefully I can get to 15 by the end of the year. Don't forget to donate $1 a month. And that's me on Subscribestar. And get off Facebook and get on Minds.com. Find me on Minds.com. Mike Martins, Mike_Martins, and add me on Minds.com. Okay, what's going on, people? Let's get to work here. We got lots of work to do. So let's go with the first wave of stories we got here. All right, let's start with Canada. So before we kick this off, guys, I brought this up quite a few times for you guys. I need people to start getting on to debt-to-income ratio calculators, guys, before you decide to buy or before you decide to jump on the wagon or before you decide to even rent or rent something. I would actually even go on this to see what your debt-to-income ratio is. Go here, put your monthly income. So let's say it's $3,900 a month. Okay, and then other income in the house, let's say it's $2,100. And then you got your rent. So let's say your rent is in Vancouver right now. The average rent for a 2-bedroom is $2,400. And then let's say then you go here, car loan. No, in Vancouver you wouldn't have a car, but let's say that, and then let's say credit cards, paying about say $460 a month for all your credit cards. Calculate. Here you go. Total income, total debts. You are sitting at a ratio of 48.3%. This puts you on a cause for concern. So everyone do this tonight after the show. It's called debt.ca. I don't care where you are. Just kind of look at this. You know what I'm saying, guys? Yeah, huge losses in after hours, someone's saying. Canopy growth stock is going to zero. Yeah, I had Canopy growth back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, China might go to zero. Yeah, China's in a lot of trouble right now, guys. We'll open the yeah, we'll take a look at what gold's at right now overseas right now. We'll just check in a sec. Let's go to Better Dwelling here. Greater Vancouver detached real estate sales rise, but prices fall further. So prices are dropping, guys. Vancouver's detached real estate market made improvements, but it's back to normal. Real estate board of course, real estate board. We're not even gonna waste our time with this. I just want to see if they have the yeah. So there's a detached benchmark price is still going down. I want to see what's on the market right now. There's the price change, still down. And let's see what's going on. Sales. So sales went up to 841. Big whoop. This is what I want to see. Listings to sales. Yep, you got twice the amount on them, pretty much twice on the market than what's selling. So there you go, right there, 8 to 1583. So you got twice. The total number of active listings for detached homes fell across the board. REBGV reported 6,218 active listings for detached homes in July, down 4.6% from a month before. This represents a decline of 3.22% compared to the last month. The same month last year. For context, detached inventory for last month is 10.5% higher than the median value. So guys, it's all it looks good, but then when you look at this is the graph I come to all the time. Detached sales versus new listings. You get a better understanding. Half of Toronto detached homes are selling 15% the typical price. So you got a lot of people that bought at the top that are still holding, but you got some people that bought at the right time and they're trying to see if they can just take a haircut and see. But the problem is with this is that I think you're looking at about 6.8% of the population that bought. 6.8 to about 9% bought at the top. That bought in those last 3 years when prices were going nuts. So yeah, but Pierre Gosso saying want to get more than a haircut. He gonna get a head shaved. That's right. Gold will hit 2,500 Australian dollars by the end of the year. I'm saying it's going to be a 1,600 US, 1,650. I was very conservative with gold. I kept saying, guys, are we going to see a $1,500 gold by Christmas? Man, was I ever wrong? I very conservatively being about that, Canada loses 24,000 jobs, but the Canadian real estate industry picks up over 30,000. So fire jobs. What are fire jobs? Like insurance jobs, construction, sales, like those jobs. Apparently, there's an uptick. Canada loses 24,000 jobs, but the Canadian real estate industry picks up another 30. Why is so we lose 15,000 jobs in Alberta, real jobs, to create more sales jobs to sell more houses? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, what's going on in the comments? Gold will hit 2,500 Australian. That's from I'm Lost. Pashka says, Mike, you said we are in a race to the bottom, currency devaluation. Doesn't that mean housing will go up as dollar devalues? Yeah, but the thing is, if dollar devalues, then your yes, buying power will go down too. We will turn into the Mexican peso. But then what's gonna happen is they're gonna have to raise wages in conformity to what the hyperinflation is offsetting, right? So let's say our dollar goes down, let's say 15%. Technically, theoretically, everything goes up 15%, but they're going to have to do something about that, guys. They're going to have to. That's why they're trying to prop the GDP numbers. That's why they're trying to do everything they can to basically calm investors, to calm everybody, so nobody jumps the gun and we have a sell-off on housing. Because right now we have a lot more listed than what's selling. Back in the day, whatever you listed would sell within 3 days. Now whatever you list sits on the market for 100 days. So you got to be careful, guys. It's a very good question, and yes, the price of housing won't go up, but buying power will go down. Right? That means that then the price of gas is going to go up to $7, $8 a liter, right? If prices of things become what they realistically should be in delta with inflation, the gas should be a lot more expensive than it is. A lot of things should actually be a lot more expensive than they are. Luckily, we had China to bail us out for the last 20 years making junk. So we buy a cup in China. So instead of buying this from the US for $3, I bought this from China for 10 cents at Walmart. So China's been bailing us out with junk for the last 20, 30 years, right? If it wasn't for them, then our wages would go up because everything would be made locally. And then for us to buy locally, we'd have to make more money to be able to buy local, right? So it's a vicious cycle, right? Okay, Kevin Thompson says, what does Kevin Thompson say? About $3,000 a month after fees. Okay, I gotta find a good place to move to in Canada. Papaste is saying Toronto is repulsive and beautiful. It's a quagmire. Kevin Thompson, hopefully prices will come down. Should be 50% less. Papista says, come to Quebec. Quebec is nice too. Robert Andrews says, how low did it go? How long did it go down? How much are we talking? On what? On housing or? Okay. Robert Andrews, rephrase the question, please. James Maccabi says, In Toronto, they will. The place is going to get hit hard. Yep, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get ugly. And then China is going under. Yep, cheap homes, cheap taxes, electricity, daycare. Yeah, you got to move to a small town. Move to Sarnia. Move to Cayuga. Move 3 hours out of the major city. 3-hour drive to the nearest airport. I don't like French or cold weather. Pete Swag says 50 points. Kevin Thompson says 75. Housing. Pure Gosu saying 89%. No jobs there, though. Guys, you create jobs. Jeez, Louise. Anyways, let's keep going here. Canadian new homes starts to jump, pushed by Montreal and Vancouver. So new homes, they're building new homes, but Vancouver, and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, builders are running there. Builders are going to build in those provinces because you can still pick up something under 230,000 and they could still get the Canadian proper into the housing market. Right now, a lot of Toronto, Ontario now. And we're talking about suburbs and burbs. So out of the suburbs, into the burbs, and into the sticks. Canadians are running out of space, running out of places to move. We don't have cities like Texas. Texas has more major cities than all of Canada. Texas, okay? So just in Texas alone, you have so many choices to move. If you don't like living in Austin, you move to Temple. You don't like living in Temple, you move to Katy. You don't like Katy, you move to San Antonio. You don't like San Antonio, you move to Dallas. You don't like Dallas, you move to Houston. You don't like Houston, you move to you know what I'm saying, to Austin. You don't like Austin. Texas has more major cities than all of Canada. So just imagine all of America in comparison to Canada. So Canadians are it's really tough for Canadians because of the more major cities, the 2 or the 3 major centers we have. It's really tough for us. Really tough to kind of get outside of these big cities that we are so dependent on. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Oh, I got the sunshine in here. All right, let's move on. Housing in Alberta has gotten so bad, people are renting rooms for chores instead of cash. Yeah, people can't afford to pay for rent, so they're doing chores. Yeah. Clean the house 2 times a week, wash dishes, load empty dishwasher as needed, take out the garbage, recycling, shovel snow, walk our dogs, babysit dogs when we travel, help with miscellaneous tasks. Wow. So people are going in for that. So Pergoso saying Canada doesn't have F all. Red Pill Millennial saying you can buy a starter home from between 60,000 to 200,000. I don't know where he's saying. I know in Texas you could buy something for was that 600? Yeah, in Texas you could buy a good starter home for under 120,000 bucks. Canada needs high speed rail. Nice name, Red Pill. Are you MGTOW? Woo! Big house for 40,000 bucks. Mike, send me a link. Real Kev says we need to go back to some form of rail for sure. Yeah, I'm wary of getting married. Yeah, everyone, I don't blame a lot of people. So, Alberta, let's do some chores. Let's move on. Home sales tick upward in Calgary as oversupply eases, Real Estate Association says. I told you guys, Calgary is somewhat heating up in the markets right now. The last 2 shows I've been saying Calgary is the next place to look at. We got my buddy Michael Newton, Aussie in the house, in the comment section. We'll be hitting up Australia real soon in the articles here. John Smith says, Mike, good job with dealing with some folks here. Peter Swag in the house, giving us the thumbs up. Millennial alimony is BS. And that means oil pipeline is anticipated if Calgary is booming. Oh, it can mean a lot of things. Home sales in Calgary region were up last month more than 7% compared to just July of last year, according to the latest numbers from the Alberta Real Estate Association. The boost in sales was likely due to the combined effects of higher full-time employment rates, home prices easing downward, and lending rates being relatively stable, the association said. There were 2,118 sales in Calgary region in July of this year compared to 1,974 in July 2018. And I think, what was it in Toronto that we saw? It was 817. So, I mean, it's nothing. Look at Calgary, smaller city, and it's got more sales. You know what I'm saying? Provincially, 5,774 sales. Yeah. So, Alberta is the next place, guys. Let's move on. People are snatching up houses in Toronto's east and prices are exploding. So this is from yesterday. What is going on? Is it going to the moon? Man. A new study just revealed tons of information about the house prices in Toronto, and surprise, it looks like they are still going up. Detached home sales have gone up 88% of the market's total real estate board. Meanwhile, 51% of the market saw price increases in detached homes from June 2019 last year, according to a report by Remax. Fangulo Remax. So let's move on. Just erase what I just said there. I didn't say what I said there. It's by Remax. Okay, Manitoba millennials priced out of the local housing market. Okay, that let me just, if it just went over. Manitoba millennials priced out of local housing market. Manitoba, of all places, you would think Manitoba, the prices of housing would be reasonable. See, the average home price in the province need to drop by $34,000 for someone from the age group to be able to afford an 80% mortgage at today's interest rates. That's so scary. That is so scary. Canadians are running out of places. As people are commenting here. Woo! Okay, Mike, do you think that home ownership will go to zero, meaning homes will be worth nothing? House cash or worth the dust ball? No, homes will have a value, but they need to be worth what people could afford to pay for them. Because first-time home buyers are not getting in the market. And the reason why we're having these kind of housing markets where they're not going anywhere is because we're not getting the first-time home buyers, these millennials. Millennials can't even buy in Manitoba. Listen, guys, if you have to work 25 years, okay, to be able to put a down payment, not 50% down, a down payment in Toronto for a one-bedroom condo, it's gonna keep, there's no way. Housing prices need to be driven by income, not foreign investing. Okay? If the Canadian proper, okay, cannot buy into the market, working and paying their taxes in Canada and doing everything by the book, it's over. It's done. Mike, any insight on the status of cottage prices? Watch out for cottage prices, guys. Careful with the cottage prices, okay, guys? Cottages, what I recommend with cottages is I would wait till next spring for cottages and see where they how shaky they are or what's happening with them. I'll wait till next spring. We need a renaissance in development in Canada. The government needs to get a clue and invest inward. We are still a young country. I know we are. Pure Gosu says, "What would you do? That's when your maintenance fees is the same as renting, anyways." I know. Adrian is in the house. Hello. Ricky saying, I follow your viewpoint for Nova Scotia homes, and I find that a number of sold listings are shooting up. Points to people selling in Toronto and Vancouver, buying in Nova Scotia. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. And that's what's happening. It's the Canadian proper. It's Vancouver, Toronto. It's the Canadian proper that can no longer get their hands on real estate to live the Canadian dream. Someone's asking what's happening in Victoria, BC. Prices are stagnant right now, nothing major going on, but a lot of homeless crisis right now in Victoria. Victoria has seen a huge shoot up because of the nice weather they have in the winter, or better weather, you would say, than the rest of Canada. So they're seeing a lot of homelessness migrating there, especially from Vancouver. A lot of people have been discharged from Vancouver and been sent to Victoria. They get a boat ticket or a ferry ticket to get to Victoria. So Kevin Thompson saying we are slaves. Yeah, we are, guys. So Manitoba, millennials priced out of the market. Guys, guys, I'm not liking this, man. When Manitoba millennials, and millennials are the most educated generation. The most educated generation that we have are the millennials. They should be making a lot more money than the average person. They should be being able to get into a $200,000 house, right? But no, apparently they're going for $600,000-$700,000, and prices are out of thing. So millennials, so the housing, so here it is. The average home price, so people between the ages of 25 to 34 can't afford to get into the market right now in Manitoba. Guys, that's so scary. It's like saying Buffalo, New York, or what's that other one? Buffalo or Baltimore. That people can't get into the housing market in Baltimore. They can't afford it. The average house in Baltimore is like $100,000. And if you got to make $25,000 a year, 4 times your average income. So if you can make $25,000 a year, you can afford a house in Baltimore. But I mean, if a millennial, most educated generation of our time, can't afford to jump into a house in Manitoba, and the houses need to drop by 34%, guys, this is not good. This is a bad indication here. This is like, okay, stop the press. We got a problem here. Manitoba is a despot welfare province. It needs to overcome its affairs, land issues, and start cutting the wood again. Yeah. Kevin Thompson said he's been to Winnipeg 10 times. Pashka says, how are people buying a house in the first place if wages are around $3,500 on average? How are people buying homes with payments around $2,000? But we went to this debt income calculator, right? So I'm putting down right here, right? I'm putting down a total income of $6,000 with total debts. Okay? This person can't afford this mortgage of $2,400. Like this scenario that we built here for $6,000 a month, they can't afford this mortgage, $2,400 mortgage. So, I mean, they got to bring it down to, let's say, $1,950. So let's calculate this. So they're at 43%. Cause for concern. They still can't afford. So they still can't afford a mortgage at $1,950. So they got to go $1,765. So they could afford a mortgage. That would put them of an income of 40%. That would put them. They would put them in this margin here, manageable. While you may be able to manage with a ratio this high, it is a good idea to start working to reduce your debt. So people making $6,000, 6 large, 2 people working, could afford $1,765 a month. Yeah, it's not looking good, guys. So, all right, what's going on here? Lots of comments. Pashka said, how are the people buying houses in the first place if wages are... We covered that, so that was that for that. Let me go to the next one. Banks give loans to everyone. Depends. It depends who, too. Real Kevin Thompson says tax evasion. Past Says crooked banks. Yep. And then he goes on to say they don't factor in food, gas, in the calculation of loan requirements. Oh yeah, look, I got the car loan here for $222. Okay, and that's not you're not paying for a Maserati for that much. I mean, you're lucky for $222 a month if you get an old Honda from like 1996 or 2000 or something. And then credit cards, $460 a month. Okay, let's say Buddy gets an inheritance, pays off his credit cards. Boom. Credit cards are paid. Calculate. There you go. Now he's in the he's in the 36% or less. Most lenders consider the ratio of 36% or less healthy debt load. There you go. So Buddy basically needs to carry a debt of a mortgage or a loan of $1,765 per month plus a car loan of $220. The second he adds $440 a month in credit card payments, it already puts him in a manageable area. See, manageable. And then if he adds daycare or some other crap, let's say student loans. You throw $200 in student loans a month, watch this. $200. Boom, he's already cause for concern. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, people. That's all it takes. One student loan. Okay, CBC, international buyers in Nova Scotia, vacation properties, especially Cape Breton. So we got foreign investing going on in Cape Breton. Recent numbers of statistics show Nova Scotia has higher rate of non-resident owners than BC. Oh my God, we sold out Nova Scotia. Renters. Recent numbers from Statistics Canada show Nova Scotia has a rate of non-resident owners than BC, Ontario. More people own in Nova Scotia that are foreign than actual Canadians. Oh my God, we sold out Nova Scotia. Oh my God, guys. Canada has no bastion of solitude left for. Nova Scotia has a higher rate of non-residency property owners than British Columbia and Ontario, but unlike those provinces, most buyers aren't looking for a shiny new condo in the city. Both BC and Ontario have imposed tax on foreign buyers who purchased property in recent years. An effort to cool the housing markets to avoid property speculation, and some argue is pricing local residents out of the affordable housing. Yeah, we know that, right? Jean-Philippe Deschamps-Laporte, the chief of the Canadian Housing Statistics Program with Statistics Canada, said that intense discussion prompted the federal agency to gather and compare numbers. The 2018 data shows that non-residents are about 3.9% of the 450,000 residential properties in Nova Scotia. That's slightly higher than the percentage of non-resident owners in Ontario by 2.2% and British Columbia by 3.8%. The story in Nova Scotia is slightly different. What we have seen in Toronto and Vancouver, for instance, is the sense we find municipalities that are easily accessible by ferries, locations that tend to be more recreational, and even non-resident owner rates, he said. Ontario and British Columbia both have far more total residential properties than Nova Scotia, with 4.8 million and 1.7 million respectively. Oh my God, we sold out, guys. Wow. So we got cities in Canada that are, lots of other cities in Canada that are basically sold out. Richmond, they're saying Richmond, BC here. Richmond, Shelburne, Cape Breton, St. Mary's, Southern Victoria. Senior analysis of Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation economists. So this gentleman here has been working on cracking these numbers here. This is huge because this is going to change the face of what Canada's going to... Wow, the rate of non-resident ownership was much higher outside of Halifax than in the city. Wow, there's a lot of I would say political refugees leaving China, and a lot of political refugees as in they're kind of stepped on the big leader's toes maybe, and they're hiding out in small little secluded towns in Halifax and stuff. Wow, I'm just kind of speculating with that what I just said. So, this is from Saskatoon, guys, middle of Canada. Mortgage foreclosure notices up 80% in 5 years. So, mortgages are foreclosing, more foreclosures in Saskatoon, guys. And it's not looking good for people in central Canada right now. Wow, with people in Manitoba unable to buy. All right, let's move on. All right, what are we doing next? What continent do you guys want to go to next? We just finished Canada. Yeah, let's go to the United States. All right, I have to allow ads on here. All right, leave me alone. All right, let's do this, guys. All right, I covered this last week in an independent story. Is Seattle the new Vancouver when it comes to Chinese housing investment? It is. And this is what blew up the state of Washington in housing prices. Lots of housing sold there once Vancouver implemented the foreign buyers tax. Once Vancouver implemented the foreign buyers tax, 50% went to Toronto and like 30-40% went across the border to Washington State. Without parking, those who live in vehicles have nowhere to go. So a lot of streets are making it illegal to sleep in your vehicle. Public spaces in Seattle have become crowded with residents, campers who have few other options. This is so bad. Look at this street in Seattle. Look at this. Is anyone paying attention to this? Like, I mean, like, is it illegal? Is it? I mean, hold on, guys. Let me close my window here. My neighbor's cutting his lawn. My neighbor. My neighbor cuts his lawn like 4 times a day. At night. Make sure, no one sees him. So, my neighbor Billy has lived 17 years in a 20-foot-long recreational vehicle parked with mostly industrial, but now gentrifying neighborhood in Seattle. Handyman, 66-year-old. Of course he wants to move out of his RV. Move along to where? Guys, this is pretty tough, man. This is really tough to kind of see this stuff, man. I don't know if anyone's really... I'm just concerned, Yeah, lots of tech workers sleeping in cars too, eh? They're trying to keep a lid on that. See people freezing in their vehicles. Man. Can't afford to start it up to warm up the car. Maine just gave asylum seekers temporary housing within a few months, frustrating homeless who remain waiting on lists for years. So asylum seekers coming to America are getting places within months, and homeless people that need to kind of get their lives back on track don't have any say in the matter. Yep. You fall into bad times and sometimes it's hard to get out of it. Been living in a car for at least 5 years until a friend offered her to stay in a storage shack in the woods. Wow. Breaking.
But for millions today, finding affordable housing has become a nightmare. Our housing crisis is out of control, and it's one of the big reasons we have a homeless crisis.
Yeah.
130,000 people now live on the street in the Golden State. From this former nurse living in a tent on Skid Row.
It's bad.
To this former engineer living in an RV in West LA.
They consider us criminals.
To the Lopez family living in a motel room in Mission Hills, paid for by LA County.
We just got out of Skid Row. We are blessed to be with the LA Housing.
There are a lot of reasons people end up on the streets, but in California, the top reason is money. There simply aren't enough homes and apartments that people can afford.
It has to be tackled. It is a legitimate crisis in the state. We're losing the middle class.
Governor Newsom is pushing cities to build 3.5 million new homes in 6 years. But some say that's impossible because of a...
Well, in New Zealand, they're doing the same thing with Kiwi Build. They're trying to do 100,000 homes. This is depressing, guys. This is 100 and something thousand just in the Golden State.
Standoff in California now between the haves and the have-nots.
Right now, you've got a large number of very wealthy single-family homeowners who feel no sense of obligation to the next generation to build more housing. It's almost as if they've got theirs and they're pulling up the ladder.
Richard McDonald represents a developer who wants to turn this vacant office building on South Los Robles Avenue in Pasadena into condos. Sounds simple enough, right? The planning department and the city manager approved the project. Then it came here to Pasadena City Hall for public comment and a final vote by the city council. And that's when this project ran into a buzzsaw.
You cannot move this project forward till you have ensured our community's safety and livability.
We kind of feel that our neighborhood is under attack. We have massive development from all sides.
I am just basically terrified.
Why are people angry? Pasadena wanted to restrict the building to 5 stories and 70 units with...
Guys, you know what I just realized? In the state of California, there's roughly, in the whole state of California, there's about 266,000 empty homes. Foreign investor owned. 266,000 empty homes, or 260,000 roughly. But there's 130,000 homeless people. Never mind. I was just trying to figure something out in my head.
6 units reserved for lower income families. But under a new state law designed to encourage more housing, the developer could build 6 stories and 91 units if he built 8 lower income units. 1 more story for just 2 more low income units. Neighbors hated the deal.
We've paid a lot of money to live here. We've raised our family here. This is our community. I am not going to cry.
This is totally the haves versus the have-not.
The opposition came mostly from people who live here, in the city's Madison Heights neighborhood. Tree-lined, single-family, multi-million-dollar homes. After a contentious hearing that went well past midnight, the council voted to kill the project, defying state law.
Sacramento passes this well-intentioned but I think misguided legislation. That tiny increment of additional housing, 5 hours worth of public debate, tremendous acrimony.
So the developer now plans to sue the city for violating state law.
It creates a no-win situation at the local level. The city council wants to abide by the rule of law, but in some instances there's so much pressure, it's so intense.
The mayor says the real issue here is the state trying to Bigfoot cities. He says Pasadena has built more than its fair share of dense and affordable housing, and says this is not about NIMBYism, but a clumsy state power grab.
One size fits all, and not recognizing or making any distinction between the cities that have made an honest effort to do their part and cities that haven't done anything is really misdirected and inappropriate.
But don't expect Sacramento to back down. Lawmakers are pushing for more laws to allow denser neighborhoods around mass transit, state rent control, and even a plan to take over all zoning from cities and towns.
It's really warfare on an epic scale. I think it's really a struggle for the soul of California.
So will people accept denser neighborhoods in their neighborhoods? Or will our housing crisis continue to fuel our homeless crisis? I'm Jeff Michael reporting from Pasadena.
See, the problem is there's no money in affordable housing. They want to build big, grand.
Car lovers, check that out, from around the world are in Southern California today for the Fuel Run.
All right. I'm not going to pay for that. Could garages in Toronto, this is in Toronto, California, guys, be converted into rental housing? California has the answer. So now they're going to start converting garages. Kind of like what London did when they started using up all their green space. Florida house market sees median prices and inventory rise in Q2. So that's what's happening right now. Prices. So medium house prices rose to $265,000 for the average home in Florida, and townhomes up to $195,000. That's pretty pricey for Florida. Price of Florida median house prices should be around $225,000. And 7 great places to retire in Florida. We'll do this really quick. Sarasota. I've been there. I've been to almost every place in Florida. 55,000 people living there, and the average single-family detached home is $288,000. Gainesville, Florida. I've been there too. It's really nice. A lot of tattoo parlors though. Average townhome price $128,000. Population of 129. Naples, Florida. Average home condo price $280,000. St. Petersburg, Florida. Average condo price and townhome price $169,000. Punta Gorda, Florida. Average condo price $172,000. St. Augustine, Florida. Average condo price $194,000. And Venice, Florida. Average condo price $286,000. And yeah, I kind of wanted to throw that out there. And how much vacant housing is there in Florida? So let's find out. Oh, I got to pay 99 cents for this? Okay. Wow. Guys, someone do the math for me in the comments. 17.09% of Miami's 2 million homes are vacant. Oh, crap. That's a lot. So what is 17.09% of 2 million? How many homes is that? That's in Miami. So someone do the math for me. 17.09% of 2 million. That's 340,000 empty homes? Wow. I thought California had a lot of empty homes in the state. So they're going to do vacancy tax. That's what they're going to do. Vacancy taxes now in Florida. Wow. Yeah, someone bought a condo in here, a 2-bedroom for $96,000, and they leave it empty. Wow. Christ. And does it look like another article here? Here we go. Priced out of paradise. Priced out of why locals can no longer afford to live in Miami. Priced out of the markets. What's going on? Miami, a mosquito-ridden backwater that grew so fast it was anointed the magic city. Little has it ever stayed for so long that has the city's blessing and its curse. After Miami, hit by race riots, exploding crime waves, and impoverished refugees in the 1980s, the city of the future, T.D. Ellman famously write about Miami, and probably rose again. Now the future is in full flower. Wow. So people in Florida or in Miami are priced out of their own markets. Because the medium house price should be in and around $200K in Miami. Benchmark. Let's see if it says here. Let's see here. If they say it here. Should be in and around 210. Yeah. Not seeing anything here, but All right, we're done with America. Let's move on now. All right, we did Canada, America. Let's go really quick through the UK here because this is all right. That's gotta pay for that. Gotta pay for that, and gotta pay for that. Housing crisis grips Ireland. Decade of property bubble burst. Right now in Ireland, there's people paying €200 a month, €200 a week to sleep on a couch. They don't get a room. They're sleeping on a couch. And they were hit with a lot of bidding wars. They were hit with a lot of bidding wars in Ireland, and a lot of people were bought out of the markets, and a lot of properties are sitting empty in Ireland. Housing market has stabilized with price growth set to stay weak again in Ireland. 4,920 new homes were completed, and the companies in Dublin, Ireland are having a tough time staying in business because they can't get the right help to help them, or the right people to get them on board to employ the right people because they can't afford to live in Dublin. So that's how bad it is with that. Irish property prices show slowest increase in 6 years. Again, and economists warn slowdown in Northern Ireland housing market. Again, in Belfast, they are experiencing a massive slowdown in housing prices. And last but not least, let's move over to Australia / New Zealand. What's happening, people? Let's see who we got in the Stevie B, Florida boom is from Puerto Ricans that moved there after the hurricane. Lord has got to give it to the landlady for cheap rent. And Mano was in the house. And then Steve B can't get the right people. Translation, we are employer and no one will work for us. We are Jacka employer and no one will work for us. Yeah, it's happening. The problem is they just have, a lot of companies are having problems filling positions right now. Kevin Thompson says, Steve, the people I hire just want to hang around. Rainier Mole in the house. All right, what's going on? The market will first recover from the housing downturn. Right now, they're still stating that the markets in Australia will... Oh, let's see if we can get to Yahoo Finance here in Australia. Let's see what's going on in the markets. Oh, my God. ASX down 146 point. Australian dollar, a little bit of an uptick at 67 cents. Oil still down, $55 a barrel. Gold is up another $3. $1,530 US. Woo! Bitcoin kind of fluctuating at $14,774 for Bitcoin, down 164 Australian dollars. And Australian to the euro is at 60 cents. Oh my God. Obviously the FTSE's down, NASDAQ down, but this is closed. This is down. Dow Jones. This is from today, guys. The Hang Seng down. Not by much, but down. The Nikkei down. Wow. But I think we're seeing it. I think this is the but the Australian dollar is pushing up. It just hit 60. It's been at 67. But it's pushing up right now, live right now as we speak. Oil's having a tough time staying over $55. I think oil's going to go down to $25-30 a barrel. Woo! Supreme Cannon in the house. All right, let's finish up what's going on in Australia, and hopefully we can get somebody on the show. Australia's housing market suddenly heating up again. Yeah, go to hell. Has the housing market bottomed? No, it hasn't. In Australia, it's got a lot to go. If you look at Perth and what's happening in Perth, Perth is on 4, 8, 12, 16 quarters Okay, 4 years of retraction. They got another 3 more years of retraction of fake pent-up housing demand that was in Perth during the mining boom. There's too much quarters. They got to retract. They got to come back to real levels here. Supreme in the house. Woo! Toronto's out of control. Can't get around. Construction everywhere. You turn. Yeah, Adrian. The whole damn city is under construction. Watch out. I hate it when I go there. Rainier Mola. Adrian, actually insane. I passed by Toronto. Apparently Toronto has the most cranes in North America. Yes, I covered that on my channel. Guys, check out my channel sometimes, man. Housing may have found a floor. They're saying that Sydney and Melbourne, nation's 2 largest property markets, led the gains with price rising at 0.2%. Whoopee-doo. Here it is. So you telling me the Australian proper, is making more money? I don't think so. And is this Australian proper... Is this Australia as in all of us, benchmark Australia, including Hobart and other cities that are going up that are still affordable? Is it including those? Is this the benchmark price across the country? Oh, okay, here it goes. Home values rose 0.1% in the combined state and territory capitals in July. So that's combined, 0.1%. Woo! So if you had $1 million, you went up $1,000. Woo! Yeah. 2 to 10 is game over tomorrow. You will see the biggest drop in stocks you will see in 10 years. Oh yeah, I got right out of oil, people. Yeah. Negative yielding bonds went up to 1 trillion in 2 days. Yep. What about in China? Negative yielding bonds in China are like, I don't even know how much. You know what? I don't even care, because you think the Chinese Communist Party is actually going to tell you what the heck is going on? I don't think so. Do you think China wants to tell you they're losing? I don't think so. Okay, RBA, Royal Bank of Australia. Strong immigration fueled Australia's property bubble. So, again, when they say strong immigration, woo, ABBA. When they say strong immigration, they mean this. They mean this. When they say strong immigration that's fueling the housing prices, is this. Canada wants more Chinese worker students, and Canada has been competing for wealthy investors, Chinese officials, and Canada's opening another 91 immigration offices in China to fast-track Chinese immigration. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. And how is it working? How are they doing it? Well, it's simple. Canada is increasing from China $500,000 per year. Opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for Chinese workers, students, and lucrative tourists. Yeah, it's the biggest market in the world, and they spend a lot of money. So that's what they want. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they're opening. But Canada right now, I think they're at 850,000 Chinese per year. They're trying to get in. So they upped it, because this article is from 2016. And this is what's happening in Australia. What's Australia doing? They are competing for rich investors. Strong immigration fuel Australia's property bubble. I mean, there's no question about it, right? Let's move on. Oh my God, look at oil, man. It's barely clinging to life. Gold's up again. 1532.10. Ooh, Bitcoin shot back up. It's almost at 15,000 Australian dollars for a Bitcoin. Okay, so what's this article? How much houses cost in Australia in the cities in 1975? Oh my God, are you ready for this, guys? 1975. That's when you actually made more money because your buying power was stronger. You can make $2 an hour, $3 an hour, and you could pay off your homes at 16% interest. Why? Because things were different. Immigration was different. Migration was different. Countries' policies were different, especially in Australia, right? So here it is, 1975, Sydney, 28,000. Let me see if I could open this. Sydney, $28,000 for the average detached home. Melbourne, 19,800. Brisbane, 17,500. Adelaide, 16,250. Perth, 18,850. Canberra, 26,850. Hobart, 15,200. Darwin, 87,500. Wow, Darwin was expensive. Wow. But everything else was pretty much affordable. Wow. Now, 2019, Sydney, 866,000. Melbourne, 709,000. Brisbane, 533,000. Adelaide, 465,000. Perth, 458. Canberra, 656. Hobart, 484. And Darwin, 461. Where the hell are you going to live in Australia? I mean, it's so expensive to live. So that's what the pricing was. What the cost of pricing was in 1975. Guys, I'm saving this image, man. I'm saving this image to my desktop. Because I'm going to put that in my discussion there. Midwinter hits house prices. Auckland down 2.4% in New Zealand. Ever since New Zealand passed a law that foreign investors could not buy in New Zealand, prices have been just going down steady. Strong house sales growth across the country led by Auckland. Again, more fake news by real estate companies. Property values outside of Auckland reach record high. Again, it's the same thing by Remax. And that's that, guys. So we went through all our articles. We went through all our what we had to do and stuff. And what we had to basically cover tonight. I talked a lot, guys. We went over every major continent, every English-speaking major continent. And all right, let's see who we got here. Looks like the only person is Supreme Canada that's on. Let's have him on for a while. See what he has to say about this. Competing for Chinese workers is a very lucrative business. But what does it mean to the people living in the country? I'm not getting... Supreme, turn on your Skype, buddy. My Skype... There we go. All right, so I'm calling him at the same time. He's calling me back. All right, Supreme, let me call you, buddy. Let me call you. Let me call you. All right, Supreme, you call me because my audio button is not working. I can't call you. I don't know why, but it's telling me that no audio has been found. Oh, video calling disabled. Hold on a sec. Let me fix this here, Supreme. Let me go into my options here. It says it's not finding my camera. Settings. Audio and video. No devices found. Learn more. Alright, so my camera's not working, my microphone's not working, and my speakers are not working on Skype. I don't know why. Audio and video. Alright, so it's not finding anything. Might have to reset my Skype or something because I am using my audio and you guys are hearing me clear as day. Oh, man. Alright, let's see if we can do this here. See if I can fix this real quick here. It's not even asking me to detect. Damn, you suck, Skype. Maybe we're gonna have to find a new way to call into the show, because for some reason my microphone and my camera aren't working according to Skype. So I don't know what to do, how to fix this problem. Yeah. So it looks like it's on my end this time. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's not letting me answer. Okay, so it's not working. Supreme, I'm off Skype right now. I don't know what happened to my Skype. So my Skype isn't working. I can't answer your call because the audio is no longer working. But we had a very productive show tonight, guys. I don't know what to do, how to fix that right now. I might have to, like, sign out of Skype. Alright, let me sign out and sign back in, see if I can get it to work, guys. I'm really sorry, guys, that are watching this live. I'm really sorry. I don't know why it's doing this. But someone's just asking, will Toronto's housing market ever correct itself in 10 to 20 years down the road? Oh man, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea. It's getting... I don't know what's going to happen in Toronto, guys. I really don't know, because none of the new buyers are getting into the market. None of the young families, right? None of the young families are getting into the markets anymore, right? Yeah, I'm not getting into Skype, guys. It's telling me that I have issues with Skype. I don't know why. It's saying it cannot detect. It's saying it cannot detect my my microphone. Yeah, it's telling me to find the latest version of Skype. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going into a bunch of crap right now. Okay, let me see if I can get this Skype working for Mike in the Night. I'm really choked right now with this. I don't know why it's not detecting my camera or my microphone, which is clearly working right here. Unless, did it get unplugged? No, it's plugged in. Anyways. Alright. I guess I'll sign out of Skype. Anyways, guys. I talked a lot for an hour straight, and I'm tired. A lot of talking here. A lot of work I'm doing on the shop. Let me know what you guys think. We went over all the housing markets. We discussed... basically where all the weaknesses are, and right now markets are tanking, guys. Let's see this here. Where was that right here? Man, markets are tanking. Oil's gonna have a really tough time staying above $50 a barrel in the short term. Look at gold, man. Look at gold in the last month alone, guys. Yeah, I have a thing, guys. I have a feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a long night. Time to leave Toronto, people are saying. Yeah, a lot of people are getting tired of the of not getting anywhere, like just working your whole life for the sake of working. Die a serf. Basically, you're a serf. You die without any. You die with nothing. You die basically. You're born in this world with nothing, and you die with nothing. Basically, you don't have anything to leave your children or your next generation or your friends, family, It's tough, man. It's a tough pill to swallow, man. So let's see what's happening here, guys. Yeah, these markets are not doing well right now, especially in China. Oof. They're holding on though. They're trying to. We'll see in the next hour. Anyways, yeah, someone's saying Time to Leave Toronto was back in the early 90s. Yeah, everyone's talking about, like, a lot of people want to leave the big cities. A lot of people are just tired of the whole city life. The whole, just working your whole life for what, right? Look at that. We could just sit here and watch gold all night. Oh, my audio. Why is my audio not working? Oh, here it is. Hello? Okay. Okay. Yo, what's up, dog?
Hola, Miguel.
I don't know why, but my Skype just came back online. I don't know what happened.
I heard it. All of a sudden, I was hearing you live in my headset here, and it's like, oh, okay, we're live. So I hit the call button right away.
Oh, good. Okay, so what do you think is happening? Like, I mean, I'm talking about this every morning on Morning Coffee with Mike, and going over the collapse of the banks and all the Chinese banks getting bailed out right now, dude. Yeah. We're in a world of hurt right now. What's going on, in your opinion?
Oh, it's it's what we've expected to happen. I mean, you've got the whole world is just awash in this ocean of debt, and yields have gone negative. I mean, it was explained to me. I was watching the Kaiser report on RT this morning. Mm-hmm. That's a bond default.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's, because they're sovereign debt. They can't manage their own sovereign debt.
Yeah, we have a sovereign debt default, and it went up in the last 2 days. It went up $1 trillion, that negative yielding debt. Is
that pesos?
Well, they're all going to be pesos before long. This is brutal. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the things that they would have to do to change things. I mean, there's just going to have to be a major debt write-down. But you got all these people that have got all this money in the debt markets and expecting a yield. The passive income craze, and it's just, if there's no growth and no one's making any money, and it's just not going to work. It's got to stall out sooner or later. So I think that's what's happened. I think that car has spun out in the icy hill and is starting to slide backwards. I don't think they can stop it.
I have a feeling we're going to see something big in the markets tomorrow.
That seems to be that's the sense I get just from reading on Twitter and commentators. Lord Humongous seems to agree. He thinks the commercial banks are going to get hammered tomorrow. I think gold and silver they've had quite a run up. There seems to be a lot of talk about how the sentiment indexes are kind of maxed out. So you're going to have a bit of a pullback, which is perfectly you'd expect it. But with the Hong Kong situation, I mean, things are getting shaky there. I'm sure the plunge protection team is just put the phone on speed dial if they're doing anything right now. But this is brutal. I mean, Europe is definitely going into recession. I'm watching Wolf Richter. I'm seeing all these charts. Raoul Pal, I think we were talking about it on Sunday briefly, but he went over all of the economic indicators that he can think of as a macro investor, mm-hmm. and everything looks like it's about to tip over. Like, it's just, we're all standing on the edge of this 10-story ledge, just waiting for a slight breeze. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we're
You
just
know what that
there.
reminds me of? Like you just mentioned. Okay, you remember when you watch those movies and the guy's car's halfway over the cliff and then it's kind of teetering and he's trying to get to the back seat of the car?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Absolutely. And it's like, whatever you're going to do, back slowly away. But back slowly away, but don't be slow about it. Whatever you're going to do to hedge for a downturn, a recession, whatever, get on it. Get on the phone, get down to the pawn shop and get some silver and gold. Whatever you need to make yourself feel better, get on it.
Yeah.
If you're going to panic, do it early, as they say on Wall Street. It won't do you any harm.
What you just said reminds me of Kool and the Gang. Get down on it.
Get down on it. That's right.
How you going to do it if you really don't want to dance? By standing on the wall.
Yeah. I remember that well. Yeah.
Okay, we got Moby in the comments. Haven't seen him in a while. Hope you're doing good, buddy. Maybe we'll get you on Mike in the Night next week. This Saturday, we'll get you on Mike in the Night. We got Gary Medeiros in the house. Good to see you, buddy. And then who else we got? Rainier Mole is here. Briggs is in the house too.
Yeah, so, the usual suspects. Miami Mike Salsa Mafia is online.
So, okay, now let's go over... okay, we talked about negative yielding bonds, but I want to talk about here... okay, let's go over this little thing that I put here on my page.
Yeah.
Oops. I got my daddy here on the desktop. I have him on the desktop here. Okay, let me see here. It was this one here. And it was on my YouTube. Where the hell's my YouTube? I want to go over this real quick with you because it's kind of... Man, stop with this crap popping up, man. I hate when they keep popping crap up in my face.
Oh, this thing is tedious, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's go to community. All right, this is what I want to talk about. So we're looking at which country banking system will fail first, but it's not about failing first. It's more about who's in deep doo-doo. So let's start with Germany. Their derivative markets are what, $4 quadrillion? Is that what it is, or 4 billion, or what was it?
It's some unbelievable number. I think Deutsche Bank alone has something like 40 trillion. Or 40 or 4, it doesn't really matter. Like, the number is so over the top ridiculous, and they're completely unmarketable. They're just this.
Do you remember that article I read on my channel where 5 years ago investors in Deutsche Bank were enjoying a lavish dinner with beautiful chandeliers and Renaissance violin music, and now this year's Deutsche Bank meeting had wieners and sausages?
Yeah. If that's not an indicator, I don't know what is. But I guess that means that the one with the chandeliers and the everything other than bratwurst, that might have been the peak right there. Mm-hmm. For Deutsche Bank. It seems like been nothing but bad news ever since.
Well, Deutsche Bank is having a lot of issues because people. Let me go here real quick. People are trying to claim gold.
Yes, that's been going on for a while too.
Let me see if I can get... I'm having a really tough time finding anything on it, but I'm getting a lot of emails from people that are telling me that that's happening. Okay.
Germany got its gold back, from the Fed.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tungsten steel in it.
Well, yeah, I'm hearing about that too. I'm hearing about there's some bars that have, the big gold souks in Dubai that have been found with tungsten in them too over the years. Apparently something like that can be done with silver as well. But I think it's probably less because silver gets used, right?
Mm-hmm.
So gold doesn't. They pour bars and then it goes into somebody's vault generally.
Unfortunately, there's no articles about it, but why would they not discuss this? People walking in and trying to cash in. I've seen articles. I've read articles on my channel about it. Why are they removing these articles? Why? What's the deal? People need to know that in Germany, if you bought a IOU,
certificate,
here's your gold certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Come and So a lot of people bought their gold when it was at $800-900 an ounce, and now they're trying to go in and cash it in at Deutsche Bank, and they're telling them to get lost.
Yeah, well, it could start there. I mean, gold is an important market, but in dollar terms, compared to the debt market, it's just a hair on the back of a frog. You know, I mean, it's just a tiny market. But if you if they talk too much about how difficult it is to actually get the physical metal, well, then it might get down to, well, people will start pulling their cash out. I mean, they don't really want to put capital controls or any kind of controls. They want business to go on. But the problem is that they did so much derivative, like paper certificates for everything.
Guys, this is what a paper certificate looks like from Deutsche Bank. I'm kind of trying to throw it up on the screen so you guys can see what it looks like. So this is it right here. So people are trying to cash these in that they've purchased. There's some of them going back, many years, and people buying them in the, forced to make 2008 bailout. Germany's largest bank, financial, as well as legal. Could Deutsche Bank become Europe's Lehman Brothers? Seems like Bundesbank might be faced with the same tough choice the Federal Reserve was forced to make in 2008, bailout or bankruptcy. And I think there was quite a few banks that needed in the United States, in my opinion, that should have went fully bankrupt, because now it's costing taxpayers more money to keep it afloat.
Well, that's a big problem, definitely. And as soon as the bailouts happened, of course, they went right back to paying their employees the big honking bonuses they were paying them before the contagion began. And it's like this is why it never really was a recovery, because it never showed up on Main Street. Things never got better on Main Street, But as long as the stock market kept going from lower left to upper right, then good times are here again, right? And you can't say that's irrelevant, because just about everybody who's got any kind of retirement savings or 401ks in the States, for example, they're in the markets. So they like to see that number going up by whatever means necessary. But they're all going up, including housing and, autos. You've gone right back to subprime auto loans starting to default, and credit cards in default, like in record numbers. Numbers not seen since 2007, 2008.
Well, we're seeing it in Vancouver and Toronto. 50% of residents in the city can't afford a one-bedroom.
Yeah, it's outlandish. It's ridiculous. Why are prices so high when nobody can afford to buy anything?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
You get the first-time buyers out of the market, and it's like, well, son, go to work for 30 years, and you'll afford to put a down payment on a one-bedroom condo, son. Go there and work for 30 years, and you'll put your down payment.
Yeah, no, there's no addressing, the future of the youth at all. There's nothing, and so our current system, as it is right now, has no future. I mean, they're trying to bring bodies in here to try to keep the numbers propped up. That's their justification for all the immigration, but it's still, in the end of the day, it's the people that were born here and the ones that have, not just them, but the ones that have come here, there's no prosperity to participate in.
Yeah, there is no prosperity, guys. No. I'm gonna leave a link in the in the comments there, so you guys could go vote on this. There's a voting poll. We have 294 votes. So this is the section of my channel that's community. Go there and vote on the second one that says which banking system will fail first. So, okay, we did Germany. Now let's move over to the United States of America. You got JB Diamond and Goldman Sachs that are still paying for, what was that bank that failed? They're still paying for it, that they bought on $10 a share.
Was that Bear Stearns?
Yeah. They should have let that fall. And you know what? Then you got all the JP Morgan getting caught with 200 tons of cocaine on a ship?
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and get Lord Humongous with a camera on his shirt to go into JP Morgan and ask him how much a kilo of coke is.
We're sending him there. We're gonna do that. We're gonna Patreon you, Lord Humongous. You're going to go in there and say, yeah, I need a key of the good stuff. I need top grade Tony Montana grade Good stuff. So can you help me out and see what they have to say about it? Yeah, I would not be surprised if they decriminalize drugs just so they could have cocaine futures. I mean, the pot thing seems to be topped out. Maybe they'll just go there and say, well, we need to keep consumption patterns going. Maybe they'll just legalize it. I mean, they're going to be. I mean, that would be ridiculous, of course. But I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. Like there's no. I think the U.S. is just about the only place that's paying a yield on their bonds anymore.
Yeah, 1.7%. Here you go. Yeah. Here's $1 million. Just give me $1,010,000 in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty exciting.
Okay, so we're still with U.S. Okay, U.S. Okay, you also have all the naked stock buybacks. You got all the stock buybacks. You get all the silver shorts. You get all the crap happening, and the manipulation of gold for 7-8 years, right?
Yes.
So I mean, U.S. is in a world of hurt, mind you. Like you said, their bond markets are still in positive territory, which I don't know how long that's going to stay, but
not long.
The U.S. printing presses are going on full blast, and once that Glass-Steagall Act was taken out of law during the Clinton administration, it just allowed every bank to basically write its own rule book.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It set up a wall, as I understand it. It set up kind of a firewall. You were either an investment firm or you were a bank. There were no investment banks at that point. So once they became investment banks, well, then people would deposit money with them, and people would, of course, be putting their retirement savings to them. They'd be using that to play, create all these funky derivatives and everything to do with the housing market. And it seems like this kind of thing is starting to reemerge again. So no one's learned a lesson, but it comes down to...
No, of course not. What are you talking about? No. Okay, Steve Stevens in the comments saying, Mike Martins, what's your email? So I could send links I come across. Mike Martins, MikeMartins, 1980 @gmail.com. It's on the business section. Contact on my channel. You could contact me through there via that. If you go to my About, you could find me there. Okay, so let's move on from United States to Australia. Now, Australia is sitting at 29% according to the votes we have here from our... So Germany is at 31% with the highest default rate. Then we have the United States at the second lowest at 11%. And then now we have Australia sitting at 29%. Now... Royal Commission came in, started looking through the books. Basically, the Royal Commission is a high level of, I guess, auditors at a higher level that's, I guess, government tailored to go in and look at the bank books and see what the hell they're charging people on and what's happening and how much crap they're doing. So, Australia, what do you think?
Well, if Australia... if they don't get any traction, it's just like everything. It's just like Canada. Basically, the housing market is the economy, or it underpins so much of it. And now that the Chinese money, which, I mean, they said the same thing in Canada. It's only a small percentage of the total amount of real estate investment. But, I mean, when you have a neighborhood where prices are relatively uniform, and then suddenly some people come in waving money around, 6 or 8 people at an auction, and they bid that house up to the moon. Well, all of a sudden, every other house in the neighborhood is going to go up in price too,
right?
Which just sounds great, so you've got this phantom wealth, of course, with the resultant increases in property taxes and everything else that comes with it. So, and it looks good on paper until you get to the point where someone goes bankrupt or a developer, folds their tent, or these people start blowing out their housing to repatriate their money to China. If you run into a case like that, well, then this could all evaporate very quickly. And you've got all these refis, shadow bank refinancing. Apparently, Quicken Loans is back into that game.
Woo!
Yeah.
And,
and the thing about a shadow bank,
something very important. Australia is tied to the hip with China.
Yeah, they're joined at the hip, so they're probably going to go down together. It'll be a contagion. I mean, it'll be the end of globalization. I don't think that's practical anyway. I don't think it's going to continue. There's no trust. You know, the Chinese, the Americans, and the Commonwealth and all the rest of it. I mean, when you get down to it, they're geopolitical rivals. You know, you think, oh, well, they're all trading, so that should prevent any kind of conflict. Well, all of the royal families of Europe were all interrelated in 1914.
Yeah, they were.
So,
like the nephew was this guy's cousin was
that's right.
her aunt, and this and that. Oh my God.
Yeah, they were all Queen Victoria's grandkids or something, you know. Okay, well, that's good. They, you know, they're family. They won't fight. It won't be a problem. Besides, at the time, they owned most of the world anyway. So other than the United States and a couple of other places, basically they controlled the globe. So yeah, no problem. They'll get along. They'll have a family dinner and sort it all out. Yeah, no. And this is much worse. You know, China has been spying on America and stealing technology. And of course, the U.S. dropped the drawbridge and let all the capital flow out of the country. They opened the airlock doors and just completely shut down the middle class in the heartland of America. You know,
farmers, bee farmers, and all kinds. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was two ways, you know. So the Chinese create all of this wealth that they didn't have before, and then they turn around and they start buying up assets all over the rest of the world. And why are they allowed to do that? Because there's no sense of patriotism or nationalism anymore. So that's why you have this populist reaction. You know, it's like this is Canada. We don't want the rest of the world owning our country.
That's right.
We're not cool with it.
Okay, let's move on to the Chinese banks. So we got three or four banks in the last 4 days being bailed out by the Chinese government, and a lot of small banks were absorbed into bigger banks in the last 2 weeks in China. What do you see with China?
Well, they have a massive debt problem, and I mean, Trump is rattling the tariff saber, but it doesn't seem like there are a lot of tariffs that are actually implemented. It's just the threat of them. He's trying to force. It's like with immigration with Mexico and Guatemala. He keeps threatening them with tariffs, and they change their tune and they start helping to keep the border tightened up. So it's probably the same in China with capital. They want to try to control capital. I was just reading something tonight. Apparently, there's an island in the Pacific, Vanuatu. There was something like $3.6 billion worth of crypto that was being held. There was 6 or 8 Chinese nationals that were just extradited and arrested for trying to smuggle that money out of China, and they had it in crypto in a supposedly safe zone. I mean, America can find out where any of its citizens have money anywhere in the world. They just tell the government to supply them with the information, and they have to comply. I could see the Chinese doing the same thing with their people because they need that capital now. They've got to have it. Their debt is too high. You've got this banking crisis, and there's obviously major financial shockwaves from this problem in Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into Hong Kong maybe this Saturday. I got a few friends actually visiting there on the ground.
Oh, well, that would be good. That would be good to.
But I haven't heard from him. I messaged him 3 times on Facebook and twice on Skype, and he hasn't got back to me. He got back to me 2 days ago. Said a week ago. Said his flight was canceled, and they pushed his flight back 3 days. And then now he arrived there, and he said people were giving out pamphlets at the airport, and people were telling, oh my God, he said it was just overwhelming.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of protesters at the airport.
Yeah, apparently they canceled all the flights today or yesterday.
Yeah, major disruption. Yeah, major disruptions, and there'll be more. These people are determined. I think they're crazy. I don't think that I don't know if it'll be an all-out Tiananmen Square thing, but the Chinese are. I'm sure they know what they're going to do.
The Chinese have surrounded they've surrounded Hong Kong right now.
Yeah, you see those long lines of armored vehicles and military vehicles in Shenzhen just over the line, and I don't know if they've made their move yet, but I'm sure they will. They don't want to back down. I mean, they've got to save face somehow. That's the thing. The Chinese Communist Party. We think, oh well, China is going to be this tiger that takes over the world. The Chinese Communist Party is trying to maintain control of 1.3 billion people. That's an enormous headache.
Okay, we got.
They've got to be terrified.
Papast sending me $3.99 Canadian for extra large coffee. after you YouTube vig. Thanks, buddy. Nathan Mao is getting pretty aggressive in the comments, saying I'm spreading doom porn and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's happening in Hong Kong, okay? I got some people on the ground there that could tell us what's going on firsthand, right? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what flights are closed. I don't know what's reopened. I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying they closed down flights, and he's basically getting upset with me. And it's not... I don't understand what's going on. So, like, guys, you need to relax, okay? I'm not trying to spread doom porn. I'm not trying to create problems for people. I'm just trying to talk about trends in the housing market and how these little incidences are going to kind of tip our market in a position or in a place or in a way where it's going to reverberate across the ponds, and it's going to basically send the gloom and doom and, you know, start sending out the thought police to start shutting things down. And the media is going to go on a frenzy, calming the investors. It's just going to go nuts.
Yeah. My philosophy, and I've said it before, in times like what we have right now, if you're going to panic, do it early. Get the panic part over first, you know, and then once you're covered as best you can, well, then resume normal life until something changes. It's just don't do nothing. You know, this is trends in the housing market. That's what we're talking about tonight. But global housing, especially in the industrialized world, is too damn high. It's too damn high for the kind of wages that people are making. It's absolutely insane. It's paper wealth. It's illusory, and it could start disappearing tomorrow. And it's not just the price of the houses. It's all of the mortgage securities and other things that have been piled on top of it.
A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these little minor conflicts that are happening, okay? Yeah. A lot of these minor conflicts that are happening right now, it's just enough to basically send us over that cliff, like you were saying.
That one tiny little pin pops the bubble. I mean, one dude got shot in Bosnia in 1914, you know, and 4 years later, there's 10 million soldiers and God knows how many other people dead in all over the world, right? Just because it was a powder keg and it was shaky and there was a lot of pent up political and ethnic and religious conflict, just begging for a chance to pull the trigger and make something happen. And nobody had any idea what they were in for. And it's no different now. It's no different now. We don't know if a war broke out tomorrow. We don't know what the outcome would be.
Oh, you ready for this one? Watch this
Sure.
one. This from the housing from today. I can't get over this one. Watch this. Manitoba millennials priced out of local housing market. Manitoba. And millennials from 25 to 34 can't afford anything. And it's saying that prices need to drop by $34,000 for Manitoba. Manitoba is like Baltimore in the States.
Yeah, it's kind of an economic backwater. It's not that there's no economy in Manitoba, but it's not it's not as diverse and as integrated as, say, Ontario or Quebec, right, where they have other actual industry rather than just farming and resource extraction. So a place like Manitoba, that's the canary in the coal mine right there. That's like, okay, we've got this red hot housing market. Why is it red hot? Because prices are high. And because prices are high, people are building houses like crazy to sell at those high prices.
Well, that's what's happening in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. More and more builders are heading out there.
They're heading out there because those have historically been cheaper or affordable areas. But if people start flooding out there, that'll end shortly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there'll be nowhere to go, and it's not because just because people aren't making enough money, and the reason the prices are high don't have anything to do with actual demand. It's just hundreds of billions of dollars that flooded into Canada and bid up the price of the housing in key centers.
Okay, ready for this one?
Sure.
International buyers eye Nova Scotia vacation properties, especially in Cape Breton. Recent numbers of Statistics Canada show Nova Scotia has higher rate of non-resident owners than BC and Ontario.
Yeah, there you go. More international buyers looking at Nova Scotia properties. You know,
dude, we're selling out the entire country.
We're selling out the country. Like, are Canadians actually going to get a shot on this? Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the same in Washington as it is in Ottawa. They look at these numbers and say, well, everything's going up, therefore the economy is must be booming. It must be doing really, really well. But a third of millennials are still living at home.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've gone back to school to go and try to get more accreditation and racking up more debt. Well, that's right. Yeah, Steve B. What are you going to do in Nova Scotia for a living? Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, most of the Maritimes are an economic basket case. They're just socialist hellholes. That's part of the reason the prices are so low.
Okay, Mr. A-Team is saying, I was thinking of living in my car, can't afford anything in BC. And then Nathan Mao came back. Nathan, take a break, buddy. I don't know why you're so wound up tonight, man. Just relax, buddy. I mean, I want to be on everyone's team, right? I want to be playing with everybody. I don't want to be against anybody.
Yeah, we're talking about the worst case scenarios here. Like we're talking about it here. Beijing and Washington are probably not watching the stream tonight. We can talk about these things. You get yourself worked up, and then you go, you analyze it. Okay, well, what is the worst case scenario? Can we handle that? What's our next move from here? I mean, we're as much brainstorming as we're anything else. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? You got all your callers come in, me included, come in here, and we give our opinion. Other people have to kind of take all of those opinions plus their own and triangulate a solution that works for them. We're all at different places in life and probably different socioeconomical levels and everything else.
Yeah. So, yeah, Nathan needs to relax, buddy. I'm on your team, dude. I'm not trying to play against you. Stephanie Rovango is saying, no, Mike, Baltimore is not as cheap as you think they are. The bad parts in town are somewhat reasonable, but average parts of Baltimore are expensive. I have family there. It's not cheap, and property taxes are very high. Okay. All right. Then let's say that Manitoba is like Buffalo, Ontario. Buffalo, New York, then.
Yeah.
Is that more better then? I'm just trying to think of a place Detroit. I'm just trying to find a place.
Go. Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So Americans that are watching and Australians can understand that Manitoba is in the Manitoba is in the promised land. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's smack in the middle of the country, and yeah, the economy is not really diversified there. They got one big town. It should be affordable.
Here we go. Manitoba is more like North Dakota or Utah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because they border those states border those provinces, right?
Well, Cape Breton is on the Atlantic. Well, Utah's like Mormon Switzerland, with the desert, right, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the other one, yeah, it's same area. It's just northern New England, basically.
Yeah.
And they're very old and established communities, but there's not a lot of economic development is pretty moribund. The taxes are high. They're not very well run. And and the people are, people. I don't know. Does anyone move to Newfoundland? I think the last person moved to Newfoundland was probably in the mid 1700s.
No. People are moving there. No, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Cape Breton. People are moving there. Huge numbers of people moving from Ontario and from British Columbia and even parts of Alberta and Manitoba.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read an article a few days ago that even somebody was in the comments section that commented saying that they are in Nova Scotia, and they're telling me that I'm accurate to what I'm saying. They're buying up like crazy there.
Yeah. Well, it was affordable, right? It was affordable. I mean, that's the thing about it being an economic backwater per se, but it's still a clean, tidy Canadian province. So it's reasonably well run. It's not like Guatemala or something, right? Mm-hmm. So it's still civilized. You can still buy a place there, and the roads are paved and the people are friendly, and you move right in and fit right in a place like that. But yeah, international buyers, not pleased by that. They need to tighten that up.
We need to get Stephanie on sometime on the show. Stephanie Rovango, she's saying Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma is pretty reasonable, but there are not that many good paying jobs out there. We need to get Stephanie. You need to come on the show sometime. Add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. We'll hopefully next week, if you could tune into the show and join us, and maybe you could give us an insight on what's happening in the United States of America. Kind of what we need to.
That'd be a great perspective to have. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Papa Pest is saying Newfoundland is easy to do business in. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's
there's
good.
a lot of less red tape because places like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, they're open for business, right? Oh, and Prince Edward Island is right now in huge demand right now.
Prince Edward Island.
Mm-hmm. I read that article the other day.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks like it's a beautiful place. Maybe everybody wants that Anna Green Gables vibe, I imagine. You can probably still find it there, and it's probably affordable. But yeah, it's a tiny little island. Other than the red soil and the potatoes, I don't know what else goes on there.
Here we go. Charlottetown became one of the hottest housing markets in Canada.
Yeah, there you go. Money floods in and drives up the price and ruins the good thing.
Now they're already debating on city councils to create the first affordable housing project in PEI in its history. They never had to have affordable housing projects in PEI until now.
No, I mean, like being able to own a home is supposed to be a hallmark of being in a civilized first world country.
And
I mean,
working full-time, 2 jobs.
As long as you're willing to work, right? You can get what you want, and it's getting to the point that both parents and the kids have to collect pop bottles and everything else, and someday you'll have a down payment. It's ridiculous. And the stupid thing is, it wasn't because there was this genuine economic boom. It was just all this funny money that was floating around that's doing this. This is the bubble. This is the inflation. This is where it showed up. Thankfully, we still have dollar stores where you can still buy stuff for $1. But when it comes to things like housing and vehicles and taxes and things like that, no, inflation is everywhere. It went vertical.
Charlottetown Street Navigator says he sees direct impact of housing crisis developing in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, where... Okay, I have to open I don't want to open the article, but it's saying here, and this is from August 13.
Yeah.
Wow, first affordable housing project in Prince Edward Island in the history of the province. It's the first time that they have to create PEI's housing crisis forces Syrian refugees into cramped quarters. So they got in a pile of refugees in Prince Edward Island. So
yeah, well, when they talk about affordable housing projects, is that what they mean? Just because these people, I gather, are not working in any gainful way. So it comes down to, again, why are they here? Mm-hmm. Is this like a human infrastructure project? So instead of building roads and highways, we'll just import 1 million people in the next 3 years, and then we'll just pay them to be here. That'll be our infrastructure projects.
So projects in PEI are 319% higher than July of last year.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
208,000 units.
Yeah,
in July 2019.
Yeah, these are the things that you should be saying when you have an economic boom and everyone is just flush with money and dying to spend it and it's not happening. It's not happening in our neck of the woods.
Okay, here, guys, I'm going to show you what PEI looks like, so you guys know. Right there, Anna Green Gables. There it is. Prince Edward Island, home of Anna. This is what PEI looked like this. Just that.
Most of Canada looked like that at one time.
Well, PEI is lagging, right? But now it's not. It's changed, right? Let me open it up here. PEI Canada. This is Prince Edward Island, guys. This is what it looks like. Just a little town. See, this little towns look like this. This is what it was. Now they're building condos like crazy. That's Prince Edward Island, guys.
Yeah, condos and townhouses will just overtake the place like black mold. Every body of water will have resorts on it, and it'll just get overbuilt and overinvested. Right, I don't know what's going to happen.
This is the downtown capital. Yeah. This is Charlottetown. And that's it right there. So there it is there. And it's just blowing up at the seams. Yeah. I can't believe 318. What was it? 200. What did I say? What did I say earlier? For PEI housing, what was it here?
200 something plus thousand.
Yeah, it's 300% higher than last. PEI housing starts status. Sorry, was 208,000 units in July 2019, compared to a total of housing in PEI were 319% higher than July 2018. So in 1 year, housing construction or projects went up 319%.
Yeah, people are moving there probably for the prices. I mean, it's been pointed out here, the winters over on that side of the country suck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but people are going there because it's affordable, and they probably want to retire in Canada, or international money, looking for a place to park their money. There's a lot of that in northern BC too, central and northern BC. Lots of German and Swiss money up there.
All right, so let's go to Charlottetown. Let's see what you could buy here in Charlottetown. Here we go. We're in Prince Edward Island, downtown Charlottetown. So, wow, that's pretty pricey. $169,000 for a 3-bedroom.
Yeah,
in PEI, dude.
In PEI, you wouldn't expect that. It was never like that. I've never known it to be like that.
Now, like a typical home, 190, 195. These are just apartments, though. Let me see if I could find something like a more detached. Here we go, 210,000. Wow.
Yeah.
In Prince Edward Island. Wow. And you know what? Not even 4 years ago, this house was 30 grand.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, I saw something similar here from about 1999 onward. You know, the year 2000. Everything here is 3 times what it was. And this is a desirable area, of course. But yeah, a lot of it was that cheap money, and that's the thing. Once that virtuous or spiral started, where prices went up, and everybody that could buy a hammer and become a builder and put a sign up on the side of the road somewhere, and there was stuff getting put in everywhere, and a lot of it was speculation. I mean, I think they've all got residents in them now, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff sitting empty for a while until things got going again. So we'll have a global QE this time. There's no choice. The Americans are just going to be the last ones to the party. I see Mr. Trump is tweeting to the head of the Federal Reserve is, how come we're giving money away while everyone else is basically, borrowing money for free,
Well, you saw the article I read for the Danish banks. They're basically paying people to take mortgages out.
Yeah. How does that work? That's insane.
Negative rates, and then they owe less than what the mortgage was borrowed at.
Yeah.
Yeah. But remember, Supreme, the bank didn't have the money in the first place to lend, right?
Well, that's right. Yeah, they probably got it from the central bank for nothing.
Well, it was created out of debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money's created from debt, so they basically didn't have the money to actually. They don't physically have the money to give somebody to buy a house. They just write you or issue you a check, basically, or whatnot, right?
So if we're getting to the point where they're paying people to buy real estate, I assume they're doing that because it's a feature, like when they offered avocado toast for somebody for a year to buy a condo in Vancouver, right? Mm. It's like, well, pay full price and we'll throw this in, so this is the same deal. Yeah, we don't want the prices to go down because that will probably collapse the entire banking system, and God only knows where that will end. Mm-hmm. So we'll pay you to take the place at this price. So if you do that, well, then just about anybody, Walmart greeter could buy a house because they're going to pay you.
Well, 20 years ago, Walmart greeter could buy a house and pay it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, probably longer ago than that now, but close. Mm-hmm. By the time interest rates, really started to bounce off 1%. That's really when things got insane. And that's the thing. People were looking for yield because they want that passive income. They want that beautiful passive income, baby. So that's where all these derivatives started getting made.
Well, that's why boomers need to find something to get themselves into, especially with a lot of them going into retirement with a mortgage.
Yeah, they got to get rid of their places. They were probably planning on flogging them and using that equity, that grew, just mushroomed over the years, to partly finance their retirement. Well, what are we going to do when there's 3 million boomers retiring every year in Canada, and that many housing units goes on the market? There's just nothing but downward pressure just pushing down on this thing, and the prices are not going down that fast because people cannot afford it for them to go down, and the banks certainly can't afford for them to go down. With all these HELOCs and refi things going on, like people will be underwater very quickly. They've barely got their nose above water right now, and if we get a recession, I mean, they're trying to eliminate the business cycle, because I have a feeling housing all by itself will cause a contagion, and it will just collapse banks and economies all over the industrialized world.
Well, a lot of people don't know that on Black Tuesday? Or Black Thursday or Black Friday? In 1929. What was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what day it was.
Black Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, it was Black Tuesday. But a lot of people don't understand. A lot of it had to do with the housing market. They all think that stocks crashed. No. There's a lot of housing issues at that time.
There was a lot of speculation, yeah.
Oh, but housing was a huge problem for that crash. But they never bring that up anymore. They always say it was the stock market. No. Housing was a major problem, like maybe 30% of that problem.
Yeah, very few people had money in the stock market back then. I mean, obviously the people that did went all in because they saw the price going vertical and, oh God, I got to get in on that. But a lot of it was, there was a lot of speculation. And then what happened is banks started to close their doors. You had major runs on the banks, and that's ultimately what took the economy down.
Yeah.
It was just hundreds of banks just went tits up one day, or over the course of a week or a month, and it just got more and more contagious. Now the biggest problem we have is banks loan money to each other. Like, there's overnight rates for everything. Now you got a bunch of Chinese banks that will not loan money to each other just to cover overnight deposits and stuff like that. They don't trust each other. So that's what happened here, and we just had a scandal about that a couple of years ago with the London interbank overnight rate having been manipulated, right? Yeah, like it probably should have been like 2%. Well, it was 0.2% or something like that, just the overnight rate, but it was kept that way artificially to conceal the fact that there was a bunch of risk.
Right. And
that's dangerous.
And the UK's been manipulating gold too for many years.
Yeah, they have. Well, there's the Chicago Board of Trade and the London Bullion Marketers Association. It's those two organizations that determine the price of gold in the world.
Wait. I thought the price of gold came from heaven.
Well, but heaven bestowed power upon the the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the London Bullion Market. They're doing the Lord's work, It's like Jamie Dimon said at J.P. Morgan was him that said that. Yeah,
Jamie Dimon.
Doing God's work. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, he's practically the Pope. Eh? Yeah, he's a beautiful
Lord,
man.
I'm coming up to my second hour. I still have a few loose ends to tie up tonight here at the house before I go to bed. Anyways, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime.
Mikey the Night this Saturday. I don't know what to talk about, though. I think we're going to discuss what the heck is going on in Hong Kong. There's too much happening in Hong Kong right now.
There's a lot of conflicting reports coming out of there too, and someone will probably have another few days will have gone by. We'll probably have some updates on that Jeffrey Epstein situation. There's another thing that could take things down. I mean, people that powerful. Oh boy. I mean, talk about destroying confidence in your quote unquote betters. That could be really, really dangerous. But Hong Kong is definitely a flashpoint, and there's a lot of hysteria. And the big thing about hysteria of any kind is, number one, you've got to resist it. You've got to take a deep breath and step outside and smell the flowers, and remember the birds are still singing and the sky's still blue. But the other thing is, don't wait. Take some precautions. Buy some silver. Silver's still cheap. Just buy a roll of silver.
Cheap, man. You can buy silver bargains everywhere.
Yeah, just put a roll of maples in your sock drawer, and then you did something. Maybe pull a little cash, make yourself feel better. If we have a deflation, that cash, you can go in and buy the other things you want before the hyperinflation starts.
Right.
Yeah, just don't do nothing, guys, and then you sleep better. You'll feel better. Be thankful. It hasn't happened yet. It's not good. It doesn't look good out there, and it hasn't for quite a while. But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So take every day as an advantage and hustle. Get yourself set up, and then when you've done all you can do, you've done all you can do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Humongous. Thank you, Supreme Canon. Then we got Mr. Humongous in the comment section, keeping everyone calm.
You betcha. Yeah, he's all over it.
We'll talk soon. Good night.
Okay, buddy. God bless. Good night.
Good night. That was Supreme Canon in the house. Okay. All right. We got Stephanie adding me to Skype. Yeah. Here we go. So hopefully we can get Stephanie on the show next week. She just added me on Skype. And we could get her on the show next week to give us a little lay of the land, what's happening right now in the United States of America, and give us a bit more insight. And maybe if she understands what's happening in Hong Kong, we could have her on the show too, and give her point of view. Anyways, okay, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good night. God bless. And don't forget to support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee. $1 a month gets me a coffee. Ciao, 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 everybody. God bless.